Good morning. It's August 8th today, and we thought we'd do a little tour of our front yard foodscape. We did one tour on live and had a little bit of trouble, so we'd like to show you around now, and we'll post this afterwards. We're going to talk a little bit about some pests, about when to harvest things, but mostly we just wanted to show you around because early August is a beautiful time in the foodscape. It's harvest season is really revving up, and things look really pretty. And here I'm standing in front of a cattle panel arbor, and we're growing some squash over it, and it just now filled in. And here you can see, if you come up a little closer, we've got squash hanging down. On one side, we've got a summer squash that's a climbing variety called trombetta squash. It's kind of like a zucchini flavor, but a little bit nuttier. We love it, even better than zucchini. And then on the other side, we planted two plants of butternut squash that are growing up and over. And our approach to foodscaping likes to put food-bearing plants front and center and make them a feature. And that's what we try to do when we grow climbing vegetables and make an arbor. And that's what we do when we have grapes on an arbor, or on this side, for example, we have espalier fruit trees. So it's really becomes a feature, but it also produces fruit. So this is an apple tree that's a 3-tier design, actually 4 tiers now, added another one. Here's an Asian pear, and they aren't all that mature yet, the trees themselves. This is their 3rd or 4th year now. But the Asian pears are actually producing fruit pretty good. So espalier is one of our favorite ways to grow food. Like, we would have a fence in this area anyway, and this makes the growing fruit manageable, and it also looks super cool. So that one's a European pear. And here we have another pear. We really do love fresh pears, obviously. This is a European pear. It's a Bartlett type. It's an early one. Haro Delight is the variety. So, okay, so let's go, keep moving. So here in this vegetable bed, we've got carrots and parsnip on the right, or on the left as you're looking at it. Those are a fall crop of carrots and parsnip, and they were planted here after some of our early vegetables. So you can look at some of our other videos if you want to know about how we multi-crop areas. Just a quick example, here we had celery and nasturtium and fava beans and lettuce, and all that's out now, so that's why we've got younger plants in. These are bush beans. Obviously, you already saw the squash-covered trellis. This plant is Amaranth. Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth is the variety, and we love it because it's another edible ornamental, right? It looks really cool, but then we also harvest the grain from it, and we like to mix it in oatmeal. And the zinnias, we had a windstorm that knocked over some of our flowers and stuff, but they're still looking good, and I prop them up a little. Marigold flowers. These are pole beans, and 2 years ago we grew squash over this, just like the other ones now. But these pole beans are here now. We had peas planted here early. These two fruit trees are pluots. And we've also kind of made a feature out of that, where we put it in the middle and we're pruning them to keep them as small as possible in this space. We use summer pruning. You can check out a video on that if you want to learn more about that. Got information. This side of the bed kind of mirrors the other side. So we've got the marigolds, the amaranth, the zinnia, the pole beans. There's a few bush beans mixed in there too to get some food in with the flowers. On the end there is a ground cherry. That was actually a volunteer that came back from when we planted ground cherries last year. And then in this row, we have our peppers. Here's a jalapeno, and this is a Italian sweet pepper, and celery kind of mixed in, marigolds in the back, and basil, if you can see the basil. And more Swiss chard behind it, and then this is cayenne pepper. And here we have a few bush beans that I mixed in. Here's another sweet pepper, Italian pepper, and more marigolds. It kind of follows the same pattern. And then here, another jalapeno and poblano. The poblano is a big, vigorous plant, and we've already harvested quite a few, but these ones aren't quite ready. You let them get a little bit bigger than that if you want. And then if we come around this way, we've got more marigolds. We always like to mix a lot of flowers in with our foodscape design. If you're gonna put it in the front yard especially, but anytime, we really like to make it look good. And then the other thing with the flowers is they attract beneficial insects and can help you manage some of your pest issues if you have any. This is sun gold tomato, a cherry tomato, super vigorous. Got it trellised up here. This is a determinate one in a tomato cage. A nice large slicing tomato. This is a grapevine. I think we got most everything on that side. Borage is the name of this flower. As you can see, the beneficials love it. It's got honeybees and looks like a couple native bees on it.
There's a little cucumber snuck in.
Oh yeah, here's a cucumber too. This is a pickling cucumber. We planted it later after we had pulled lettuce out of that spot. We've got our longer season cucumbers in the back. Let's take a look over here real quick at this side we call phase 2. This is another cattle panel arbor, and this one has pumpkin growing on it, and it's a really small sized pumpkin. They're getting a little big, but it's a pie pumpkin. We love it in pancakes, or you can make pumpkin pie obviously, but here's a big one. If they get bigger and heavier, we might have to support it a little to make sure it doesn't break off. But well, it looks like we're gonna have quite a few pumpkins. So we're super excited about that. And then here in the middle, this is our flagstone patio. And we got these, they're usually expensive, but we found them on classified ads and got a really good deal. And then in the middle of them, we planted effin thyme. It's a ground cover thyme. And it makes this little flower, and then you can see the honeybees are already on it. They really like it. And this is this first year we planted these in, what did we plant them in, March, Holly? They'll fill in more by next year for sure. These plants, I like the look of these a lot. This is collards, and a lot of people don't grow collard greens, but we use them in the same ways you would kale or other leafy greens. You can cook them into things, but I also really like the look of the plant. And I like to make that a pattern and mix some flowers in. It's nasturtium behind it. Nasturtium doesn't like the heat, and we've had a really hot July and early August, so they're suffering a little. You can see the one on the end is looking bad. But this is pak choi. It doesn't like the heat very much either, a little wilty now that it's the midday. But we got some lettuce coming up, and I'll have a few small lettuce transplants that we'll put in there when the weather starts to get a little cooler and we have some space. These are leeks, and this is kale. And then here, this is our Belgian fence, one of my favorite projects. It needs a little bit of training maybe, but it's super cool to be able to grow apples in this space and also have it be like an ornamental feature in our foodscape. They're all apples there, and check out our videos on that if you want to learn more. This is lavender. Did I mention that? Here we have yarrow. Yarrow is fantastic for beneficial insects. It's one of the favorites of predatory wasps, which can control a lot of aphids and do that kind of thing. We'll finish this side over here and then we'll wrap it up. This is more amaranth and bush beans, and that's a zinnia there. And then that's a grape trellis, a super vigorous grape there. And then, last but not least, this is our grape arbor that's kind of a mature arbor now. So I don't know how good the light's gonna be, but we can try going in here. I don't know. Can we get in? So this is our grape arbor, and these grapes are about ripe. On this side you can see it's a green variety that's about ripe. Yeah. And then over here on this side we have a red variety. The green one is Himrod, and this one is Red Reliance. And they usually don't all ripen right at the same time, but when they do, the Himrod is fantastic for making raisins. So we make raisins. And I think that's about everything we wanted to check out. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. Let us know if you have any questions. And thanks for watching Foodscaping Utah, and grow your own.